Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we'll be looking at the story of the first game in the Tekken video game franchise that has been alive and well since December of 1994. Tekken, pronounced correctly as Tekken and translated to Iron Fist, is a story with slapstick comedy and bizarre humor intermingled with the soap opera family drama similar to that of Star Wars. So, sit back and relax as we begin the tale of the Mishima family saga. Our story begins long ago in the mountains of Japan. In and amongst the spires of the earth stood Heihachi Mishima, one of the three most integral characters in the entire Tekken franchise. He stood face to face with his young son, sparring with him. His son, Kazuya Mishima, is another of the three most important characters in Tekken's history. Although young, Kazuya put up a decent fight, but irregardless of his efforts, his father finds his son's strength disappointing and lacking. Therefore, due to his great displeasure, Heihachi sentences his son to a life or death trial in order to test the strength of Kazuya. Picking up the boy by the scruff of his neck, Heihachi carried him to the edge of a mountainous cliff edge and tossed him down an immeasurable distance. Heihachi decided that if his son Kazuya could crawl back up the mountain and survive it, then he would be worthy enough to carry on the family name of Mishima, as well as lead his global corporate conglomerate known simply as the Mishima Zaibatsu. Kazuya ends up surviving his fall, but the impact caused a massive scar to be carved into his chest, which awakened a demonic entity within him known as the Devil Gene. With this gene's activation, Kazuya would gain the opportunity to build up immense strength and power unknown to mere mortals. Driven by his insatiable appetite for revenge, Kazuya climbed back up the mountainside in order to show not just his father but also to himself that he was strong enough to overcome anything that his father threw at him. Kazuya would go on his own path in the following years, entering various martial arts tournaments all over the globe. He became known as a popular undefeated fighter until one day he fought an individual by the name of Paul Phoenix, an American martial artist who left the only blemish on his otherwise flawless record with a solitary draw match. During this time, Heihachi, having realized of his son's survival and always wanting a reason to encourage his son's motivation to become a better Mishima, he adopted a Chinese orphan named Li Xiaolan to be a rival for his son. Meanwhile, Heihachi also found an abandoned bear cub that was located on the grounds of his Mishima estate. The bear was raised at his side, giving the young cub the name of Kuma or Kuma the First. Although Kuma was loyal to Heihachi, he always found himself scuttling away from his master's side in the summertime in order to catch some much-needed rest. Due to his lackadaisical nature, Kuma's fighting style never truly evolved into its own and was rather disjointed. After 21 years of training, Heihachi decided that it was about time for him to test his son to see the progress and potential that he had. Therefore, he announced the first King of Iron Fist tournament, a global fighting competition to see who could dethrone the Mishima family head from being the best fighter on Earth. Many diverse individuals joined the tournament in order to compete for the opportunity to defeat Heihachi himself. King, or King the First, was a street-brawling orphan. He was so consumed with the lifestyle of fighting that eventually he was nearly mortally wounded and ended up collapsing in front of a monastery. With the priest having saved his life, King reflected and decided that he wanted to change the direction in which his life was going in. He became a Catholic priest and renounced his old fighting ways, dreaming of building an orphanage for street children in order to hopefully save them from becoming the kind of person that he used to be. King went to work and eventually was successful in building it. Unfortunately, funds were tight. To fund the orphanage, King would enter wrestling matches, donning his iconic jaguar mask and acquiring the title Beast Priest. During this time, King met his future rival Armor King, who was one of a wrestling tag team brother duo that also wore jaguar masks. Early in his career, King accidentally crushed the eye of Armor King, which would inevitably cause the man's career to plummet. King entered the King of Iron Fist tournament in order to gain enough money to support the orphanage, while Armor King entered for revenge and to settle the score, as it were. Sadly for him, King defeated Armor King, which managed to place him in third place, which gave him enough prize money to continue supporting the orphanage. Michelle Chang was a Chinese and Native American mixed woman whose father was from Hong Kong and her mother a Native American from Arizona. Michelle's father was ordered by Heihachi to search for an ancient Native American treasure, a pendant capable of controlling powerful spirits, which was owned by his daughter. When he failed to retrieve it for Heihachi, the Mishima had ordered his men to murder him. This fact was later presented to Michelle by her mother when she turned 18. Having heard of this, she entered the King of Iron Fist tournament in order to have her revenge against Heihachi. In the competition, Michelle encountered and defeated Kunimitsu, a female former member of the Manji clan who had been cast out due to theft and had sought out the pendant in order to make ends meet. She then withdrew from the tournament, as she had achieved what should have been her main goal from the very beginning. Speaking about Kunimitsu, let's discuss her rival who entered the tournament, Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu entered the tournament as a decoy so as to allow the other fellow Manji clan members to steal the tournament's funds undetected. During the tournament, Yoshimitsu heard of Ganryu, a sumo wrestler who was barred from participating in sumo matches for infractions such as fire breathing and taunting his opponents. This and his gambling debts caused him to go into a life of crime, which had led him to be hired by Heihachi as one of his henchmen during the tournament. Because of Ganryu's base disrespect for the sumo code, Yoshimitsu was so infuriated that not only did he defeat him, but he also took every last penny Ganryu possessed and gave it away to the poor, leaving the sumo wrestler absolutely broke. Nina Williams was the eldest daughter of Irish former assassin Richard Williams and British Aikido champion mother Heather Williams, as was her younger sister, Anna. From a young age, both Nina and Anna were taught various forms of martial arts, such as assassination martial arts, Aikido, Hapkido, and Kopujitsu. Both sisters admired their father, which created a sibling rivalry, as they craved and competed for his attention. When Richard died under mysterious circumstances, both sisters blamed each other as the cause of his death. Although they tried to maintain their relationship since it was their father's dying wish, it only made their rivalry strengthen. Nina's training in assassination martial arts helped her to quickly become an assassin for hire. When she was 20 years old, Nina was hired during the King of Iron Fist tournament to assassinate the head of the Mishima Zaibatsu, Heihachi Mishima. However, by the end of the competition, she had failed to do so. Martial Law, sometimes known as the Fighting Chef, entered the King of Iron Fist tournament in hopes of opening his own dojo with the winnings. Law would eventually find himself in a draw against Wang Jinrei, an elderly Chinese man who was a close friend of Heihachi Mishima's father, Jinpachi, and lived as a recluse in the Mishima Gardens. Despite not winning the tournament, Martial Law would eventually open up his own dojo. Jack is a combat robot whose first model was created by Heihachi Mishima Zaibatsu in order to stop and prevent Kazuya's attempt to overthrow Heihachi. Paul Phoenix was an American biker and martial artist who fought in various tournaments in order to prove that he was the toughest fighter in the universe. His main reason to enter the King of Iron Fist tournament was to face a rematch with Kazuya Mishima, who had been the only one to end his undefeated winning streak. After defeating Kuma, Heihachi's pet and sparring partner, he eventually fought Kazuya in the semifinals but was narrowly defeated. With his head down and shrunken shoulders, Paul would leave to fight another day. At the end of the tournament, after defeating his adoptive stepbrother Li Xiaolon, and later on, Paul Phoenix, Kazuya Mishima faced his father Heihachi in the final battle. After fists flying and kicks spinning about, blood splattering and bruises and blisters bursting, Kazuya finally overcame his father and defeated him, winning the tournament and the Mishima Zaibatsu. With his revenge ready to be complete, Kazuya threw his father's body off of the same exact cliff that he had been thrown down 2 decades ago.